Hello, and thank you for watching this regional forecast update for the Western U.S. I'm Andrew Pritchard, Senior Meteorologist with Nutrien Ag Solutions. We'll start out with temperatures here first thing on Friday morning. We've got a pretty warm air mass trying to set up across the northern plains into the Midwest, 30s and 40s, certainly above average for the morning in the first week of December. Some colder air trying to work its way down into portions of the northern and central Rockies here as we get going this morning with some high pressure sliding into the region. Higher atmospheric pressure across the western half of the country has us basking in sunshine here early this morning. Meanwhile, the western half of the country, a lot more in the way of cloud cover and precipitation as we head into the weekend. So the radar picture here Friday morning, quiet across the west. We do have a little bit in the way of light precipitation to talk about as we head into the weekend. We've also got some dense fog across parts of the region here. Much of the Pacific Northwest finding itself under dense fog advisories here on Friday morning. And I had one of the offices here in Medford, Oregon, put together this great graphic showing the reason for some of the valley fog and the freezing fog in the region. And again, we start with the winter sun, the low sun angle. It's giving out less warmth down toward the Earth's surface. And so sometimes we get these very thin layers of stratus clouds down near the ground. And the warmer air there acts as a lid to kind of hold the cold down near the ground. So the clouds never really erode. We keep that fog down there, and we don't get the warmer temperatures because we're not getting the sunshine down to the ground. So we end up with these inversions and cloud cover on top of that kind of creates just a feedback that maybe at times strengthens the inversion and keep those clouds locked into place. So the last 7 days, as we look at the last week of precipitation across the lower 48, we did see some in western portions of Washington and Oregon as advertised. Also a little bit of light snow making its way down through the Rockies as we went into the Thanksgiving holiday. Of course, we talked a lot about the precipitation across the eastern third of the country as well. That continues to be the active spot as we head through at least the next 4 to 5 days. The next week of precipitation then, again, a little bit of precipitation here expected across western portions of Washington and Oregon, maybe a little bit sneaking down into northern California, but we're going to continue to be very dry across the southwest into the middle of the country. So another dry week is what we have to talk about by and large across the west. We have the latest drought monitor here, and as expected, an expansion of that D4 exceptional drought across the southwest, across the Four Corners region, and of course no remedying the drought across California up into western portions of Oregon either without additional soaking rain over the last week. So drought conditions continue to worsen as we head deeper into December with, of course, not an ideal pattern in sight, at least over the next week or two. So we've really got, when I look at a pattern like this is a lot of bizarre things going on with the jet stream here over the next 5 to 7 days. A lot of little moving parts that are not amounting to much, really, across the western half of the country when we talk about precipitation. Again, by and large, a lot of ridging. Then we go ahead and slow it down and bring it back so we can kind of look at what's going on. So right now we start off, we've got a ridge across the western half of the country. We've got, kind of hodgepodge trophiness across the mid-Atlantic into New England. We've got this little system that's kind of lagging back behind. It's going to bring some snow to portions of West Texas, maybe southern New Mexico as we head into the weekend. We've also got this little system. This is the one that's going to try and bring some Pacific moisture in here to portions of the Pacific Northwest, maybe into northern California, a little light snow in the Cascades there and the northern Sierras as we head into Saturday and Sunday before it kind of slanks down here under the ridge. We get the polar jet resumes ridging here across the western U.S. So this little thing comes out across the southwest off Baja California, becomes a cutoff low, spins around here for allegedly maybe 3 to 5 days, perhaps getting picked back up here by a resumption of a more active polar jet, potentially bringing some rainfall and higher elevation snowfall back to the Pacific Northwest as we get into the back half of the next weekend. But how long is this thing going to spin? That's a big question mark. What are these systems up here really going to look like as we get into the back half of next week? Those are question marks as well. So as we remove the noise and look at the next 10 days, I got the first 5 here on the left, days 6 through 10 on the right. We're looking at North America here, the 500 millibar height anomaly pattern. And I'll just tell you that neither of these is a pattern that's going to be resolving the drought situation over here. Whether or not we try and, spend time diving into all of the little short waves that are going to be making their way across the Pacific into the Pacific Northwest, bringing, blasts of precipitation to the region. If we wanted to end the drought across California into the Four Corners region and keep things going here across the Pacific Northwest, we'd be looking for a big trough to set itself up here off the Pacific coast and bring those jet stream winds screaming in kind of from Hawaii into the southwest. So in the absence of any troughing in that region, and on the flip side, retrograding that ridge back out across the Pacific Northwest, again, while we have short waves, we got systems to talk about as we get to the back half of next week. It's not what we're looking for at this point. When Eric and I look into the future looking for an end to the drought, that is not what we're seeing. So let's take a look at the European operational run, and we'll talk about what we do have to talk about, and that is a dry Friday night, of course, foggy Friday as those conditions linger. The inversion lingers into the day on Saturday, so gloomy conditions in the Pacific Northwest with low air quality in some areas as we head into Saturday. We stay dry until we get to Saturday night. That's when some of this moisture starts to make its way into western portions of Washington, Oregon, and northern California. Again, some light snow possible in the Cascades as we head into Saturday night and Sunday. This is the little disturbance that makes its way down the coast and then back off Baja California. So that's when this is happening as we go into Sunday and Monday. Now we've got the cutoff low sitting over here, just meandering around, really blocking things up. We've got the active pattern now resuming across British Columbia into the Pacific Northwest. This is when, again, it gets muddy. We'll probably turn things back on across the Pacific Northwest, probably bring some more snow into the northern Rockies, maybe a glancing blow for northern California. I'm still dragging this time scroller out here. We're into December 12th now, so a full week into the future. We do have things kind of turning back on across the region that has seen some precipitation over the last several weeks. But again, nothing showing up here for California off toward the Four Corners region as we head through the next 7 days. So we talk about then just total precipitation straight from the European operational model. Here is the Saturday into Sunday precipitation. Again, it's not a lot. Someone might get, upwards of an inch near the coast there, but as we talk about the I-5 corridor down into northern California, we're probably talking more like tenths of an inch, and certainly probably talking about less than half of an inch. If I take this out, add in the next 3 days, and now we're looking at a full week, all the way to December 11th, you see that we do kind of resume bringing some moisture in here with those initial short waves there, but we're still talking about tenths of an inch of precipitation here until you get all the way up into northwest Washington, where we're talking about more than an inch or so. And then, of course, dry from Central California all the way into the Four Corners region. The total snow over the next week, again, a little bit of light snow here, western portions of Oregon into northern California, all the way down the Sierras there, but we're not talking about much. We're talking about inches in some of the highest elevations. So again, we talk about, temperatures is what I want to pivot to. And it looks like over the next 5 days, we'll hold on to generally warmer conditions across the west. Now, it's the first week of December, and we're talking about warmer bias here by maybe 2 to 6 degrees at times. So really talking about pretty close to average, a little bit warmer than average, which we'll take it. But I mean, as we look at northern, Canada all the way up toward the Arctic, there just is not a lot of bitterly cold, frigid air to be had. So even, if we were to try and bring some of this air southward, there's just, right now, it's going to take a little bit of time before anyone in the lower 48 is really dealing with any type of anomalously really cold winter air. So that's what we've got for temperatures here, and I'll show you the highs over the next few days. It's really going to be pretty consistent, pretty steady here as we head into the weekend and beyond. Here are your highs for the day Friday. Here we go on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then Tuesday we continue to bring that warmer air mass into the northern plains. So Montana, you're going to be feeling pretty nice, 40s and 50s for the first week of December after what was such a very, very cold start to things in October and November. We'll definitely take it in those areas. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'll be excited to talk to you again on Monday morning.